Chaffles. Everybody seems to be talking about or making chaffles. If you somehow don't know what a chaffle is, it's basically a keto waffle made out of cheese and eggs. And that's why it's called chaffle. Now, one of the main components to making chaffles is a mini waffle maker like this. And that's because mini waffle makers make the perfect size chaffle to use as the bun for a burger or even the bread in a sandwich. One of my favorite things to do though is make sweet chaffles, and I'll show you how to do this, and make chaffle ice cream sandwiches with them, and also just stack them high and make chaffle waffles with them. That being said, let's get right into it, and I'll show you how to make chaffles 3 different ways. Okay, so we're gonna kick things off by making the original 2-ingredient chaffle recipe. To make these chaffles, we'll want to add a half a cup or 56 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese to a medium-sized bowl. And once we've added that to our bowl, we'll want to get out a large egg and we'll want to crack and add it to the cheese. Now at this point, we're going to get out a whisk and whiskify those until the egg and cheese have mixed well together. So when that's looking good, we're going to lightly coat our mini waffle maker with baking spray and add half the batter to it. Now you'll want to cook your chaffle until the waffle maker signals that it's done, which should take just a couple of minutes to happen. So when your chaffle is done cooking, you'll want to use a fork to remove it from the waffle iron, and then you'll want to let it cool down on a plate before eating it. Also, while that first chaffle is cooling, you'll want to cook the rest of the batter and make your second chaffle. And again, when this second chaffle's done cooking, you'll want to let it cool down before eating it as well. Okay, so that original 2-ingredient chaffle recipe, it's all right, it's okay, it passes the test, I guess, but in my opinion, it's a little bit too cheesy and eggy in both taste and texture. I wanted to make something a little bit more bready and chewy in taste and texture, so I came up with what I think are the best chaffles to make anything savory with. They're super versatile, and actually they don't take a whole lot more to make than that original recipe does. So let's jump right into it and I'll show you how to make them. So first things first, we're gonna measure out our mozzarella cheese, and my recipe actually uses less than a half a cup. It only uses 48 grams of cheese. Now, when we've measured that out, we're gonna add it to a cutting board and then use a knife to mince the cheese into tiny pieces. Doing this is gonna help the cheese combine easier with the rest of the ingredients and help give the chaffle more of a bready consistency. So when we've taken care of prepping the cheese, we're once again gonna add a large egg to the mix, but we're also gonna add some almond flour. And for my savory chaffles, I like to add a heaping quarter cup or 32 grams of it. Once we've added that, the only other thing we're going to add is a tiny pinch of xanthan gum just to give the waffles a nice chewiness to them. And then we're going to use our whisk to combine all of the ingredients. So when we've got those ingredients looking good, we're going to coat our waffle maker with a bit of baking spray, add half the batter to it, and once again cook the chaffle until the maker signals that it's done. Now, just like the other chaffles that we made, you'll want to let these cool down before eating them. And again, this recipe makes 2 chaffles, so you'll just want to follow all the same steps to make the second one. Of course, chaffles are just a vehicle to make amazingly delicious things out of. For instance, chaffle pizza. And if you want to make chaffle pizza, just add about 2 tablespoons or 24 grams of some low-carb keto pizza sauce, along with 2.5 tablespoons or 18 grams of some mozzarella cheese, and a few slices of pepperoni to your chaffles, and you're all set to go. Then all you have to do is add your pizza chaffles to a baking tray and then broil them in the oven until the cheese melts, and that should just take about a minute to happen. When they're done in the oven, they'll end up looking like this. The crust is crispy and these chaffle pizzas are just so delicious. Of course, another fantastic way to enjoy these savory chaffles is to use them as a crust for a grilled cheese sandwich. To do this, just add the chaffles to a baking sheet, top them with a few slices of cheese, and then once again broil them in the oven until the cheese melts. Once it does, you can just flip one of the chaffles onto the other one, and then check out this chaffle grilled cheese sandwich. It's absolutely unreal. And if you love grilled cheese, you gotta try this. Then of course, you could always make a BLT. Just add one of the savory chaffles to a plate, along with a few strips of bacon, some lettuce, a tomato, and the other chaffle, and you've made yourself a chaffle BLT sandwich. And seriously, how delicious does this look? All right, so that was my go-to savory chaffle recipe, but you can't do savory without doing sweet. So of course I had to come up with a sweet chaffle recipe as well. And that's what I'm gonna show you how to make next. To make my sweet chaffles, we're gonna start by adding just less than a half a cup or 46 grams of minced mozzarella cheese to our bowl. And like always, we're also gonna add a large egg as well. We're even gonna add some almond flour again, but this time we're only using a quarter cup or 28 grams of it. Now, since we are making some sweet chaffles, we're gonna sweeten our batter up in a totally low carb, keto friendly way. And to do that, we're gonna use some zero net carb confectioner swerve. I found that 2 heaping tablespoons or 28 grams seems to be the perfect amount of swerve for my sweet chaffles. So that's what we're gonna be adding to the bowl, along with a tiny pinch of xanthan gum and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So just like the other chaffle recipes, we're gonna whisk those ingredients together until combined. Then we're gonna coat our mini waffle maker with some baking spray, add half of the batter, and cook until it signals that the chaffle is done. Once again, you'll wanna remove the chaffle with a fork just so you don't burn your fingers. And also, just like the other recipes, let these sweet chaffles cool before you eat them. As far as what to make with these chaffles, I think they're best as a bun to a keto ice cream sandwich. That's my favorite way to use them, but you could always just stack them high, add some butter, some keto maple syrup, and eat them just like you would a normal waffle. As always, if you'd like more info on today's keto chaffles recipes, check out the video description below, and I hope you like them.